What is up, my aesthetic boys? It's Fresh, back with another storytime video. This is 2 new subreddits that I've gotten a few requests for, so I figured I'd give them a read. Let me know what you guys think. That isn't where that is kept. At all. I am a kitchen and bath designer in a big box retail store. What I lose in creative autonomy, I make up with good benefits and pay stability. Right now, it's worth the payoff. If you've never been to a kitchen design center in a big box store or even a private design studio, there are sample doors everywhere that show different door styles and colors from the different cabinet manufacturers. Said doors have a quote linear foot price on the back of them. It's an average price based on a super basic 10 by 10 foot kitchen with super simple cabinets. It's used as an industry standard comparative tool to figure out if the cabinet you like is super expensive or not. This guy comes into my showroom. I ask him what project he's working on, and he said he was just looking, which honestly is fine. Some people just like looking and imagining. So I do my "if you have any questions, please ask" thing, and go back to my computer and keep working on the design I'm doing. About 5 minutes later, he starts shuffling through my wall of sample doors. About a minute after that, I hear him doing the annoyed sigh, which is odd in my neck of the woods. So I get up again and ask if he had any questions about the samples or if he was just looking for anything in particular. He said thanks, but was still just looking. Okay. So instead of going back to my computer, I start cleaning the showroom and kind of hang around where he is. Sometimes people get overwhelmed by the process of remodeling a space and don't know how to articulate their questions. He wouldn't be the first and won't be the last. It's why I am here. I watch him go back to the sample doors, look behind one sample door, get a tiny bit frustrated, and move on to another door. He keeps repeating this for a few doors until he's getting visibly frustrated at whatever he's doing. So I approach him again, thinking he may be frustrated with the pricing on the doors. Me: "Sir, I can see you're getting frustrated. I'm not trying to sell you anything, I just want to help you find what you're looking for. Is there a cabinet in your home that you're trying to match?" Him: sighs loudly and looks through another couple of sample doors like they killed his dog. Me: "Sir." Him: I just don't understand where you people keep your sinks." Me: "Internal Windows blue screen. Reboots." What? Him: "I need a kitchen sink." Me: They're over there? Would you like me to show you?" Him: "No." Stomps away. Y'all, it's been a year since this happened and I am still baffled. What the hell kind of Time Lord technology did he think I had behind each sample door? Why would anyone think saleable product is behind a sample of an unrelated product? Why am I even surprised by any of this? Customers are weird. Oh boy. I hadn't read anything from this subreddit before, but if everything that I've heard and experienced about retail customers really is a universal problem, these should be pretty interesting. I know you're closed, but I was 2 minutes away from locking our front doors. I could almost feel sweet freedom after a grueling shift of pushing shoes around. My feet carried me like magic, effortlessly to officially shut our doors for the night, but it just wasn't meant to be. As I stepped up, a tall gentleman wearing all black with tan Puma sneakers slid through the doors. I tried not to let my crushed soul show on my face as I told him, "Sir, we are currently closed. Please do come back tomorrow." "Oh, I figured you were closed. I wasn't expecting the doors to open at all," he responds with a sickening smile. "Now, I just have one question for you. Do you have these shoes in stock?" He points to the Pumas on his feet. I feel my world crack around me as I realized I am going to have to repeat myself to this man, probably more than once. "I don't believe we carry those, but I can double check for you tomorrow as we are currently closed." He takes a few steps towards me and says, "Oh, that's all right. You have something like these though? I'd like to look around and find something similar." Unable to believe my ears, I finish my route to the doors and proceed to lock them. "Sir, please leave. We will see you tomorrow." This man looks at the pained smiles of my coworker and me, thanks us, and leaves, and we go back to feeling our sweet freedom. I honestly thought I was gonna have to call security. Seriously though, Why did this guy come into the store if he knew we were closed? Everyone has an excuse. It's just one thing. I'll be quick. It's someone's birthday, it's the holiday season, whatever. But you have to remember, these employees are people as well. If it's Christmas Eve, they have a family to get back to. And if it's after store close, they aren't going to get paid for hanging around with you. So, a 93-year-old lady came in the bakery yesterday and bought herself a piece of cake, telling me it was her birthday. I work in a grocery store bakery, so just your standard fare, but she was so impressed and telling me how beautiful all the cakes were. Bad news, lady. We don't even make the cakes. They come in pre-made and frozen, but that's beside the point. Right off the bat, I gotta tell you that I have a soft spot for old people, especially kind old ladies. I thought it was really cute that she came in to buy her own birthday cake and really admire someone who still has independence at her age. I asked her what the secret was to her longevity, and she told me, be absolutely wicked in your 20s and get to know many men. I also have a scotch every night before bed. This came from a teeny little old gran, so I was totally shocked and couldn't stop laughing. She also told me that she was at Pearl Harbor the day of the bombing, and after she survived that, she figured she was gonna live forever. Nice to have customers who brighten your day every once in a while. You know, obvious health issues aside, when it comes to some kinds of behaviors and certain habits, what's a life if you aren't living it? Strip clubs and 7-year-olds. A few years back, I was working in a big electronics retail store. While my department was computers, the one guy they had for video games, DVDs, etc. went on a break and asked me to look over his department. So I started straightening some DVDs, trying to look busy to managers, when a little kid asks me to ring them up at the counter nearby. Sure, why not? So I get to the counter and there's an adult woman holding a game in the security case. She hands the game to me and it's Grand Theft Auto 5 for 360. Conversations went a little something like this. For reference, A is aunt, me is my username, and C is child, who's about 7 or 8. Me. You're buying GTA 5 for your son? Aunt. Oh no, I'm his aunt, I'm just driving him around. Me. Ah, right. So does his mom know he's getting this game? A. No. Why? Should he not have this game? At this point, the child is staring at me with daggers in his eyes. He knows what I'm up to here. However, I proceed. Me. Well, it's rated M for list the laundry list of things GTA is usually rated M for. All the while, the aunt is really receptive to everything I'm saying here. She almost seems shocked that a video game has all these themes in it, but that's okay so long as she's understanding what's in this game. I then uttered the magic words, and there's strip clubs and prostitution. The aunt looks at her nephew. Aha! That's what you want this game for, to go look at the titties and the strip clubs. Child, no, that's not what I want to do. I won't even go in the strip clubs, I promise. Me. Well, actually, there's a part of the game where you have to buy a strip club, and occasionally we'll start the game in that strip club. The aunt is not having it with this child, and the child is still bargaining. Props to the kid for not giving up. The aunt proceeds to thank me as she escorts the child out the front door, where the kid is now begging for both the game and also for his aunt to not tell his mother. This all ends with the child screaming as he's let out the front door. The GM comes up to me and asks what happened, and I told him the story. He was overall glad I did what I did because he was overseeing a store where an employee sold a kid a rated M game without a parent or guardian's permission, and they got in some real heat. He offered to buy me a Coke for my break. I then went on my break and enjoyed a nice cold Coke. You love to see how Americans prioritize inappropriate content. A game filled with crime? Sure. Murder? No problem. Tons of gun violence? Fine by me. The title of the game literally being a crime? No red flags of any kind here. But now I get it. You just want to see the strippers. He's been found out. Shame on you. Stick to a COD game or even something with more violence as long as it doesn't have sex. Man returns used containers full of water and dirt. This happened years ago when I worked at a well-known home improvement store. Stuff like this happened all the time there, but this was probably the most extreme case I ever saw. A man came in to return a cart full of home goods. The cart was seriously full of stuff. He had multiple receipts and he claimed to be in a hurry. He was flustered and aggressive, telling me that he needed cash for everything and didn't have time for multiple transactions, despite having at least 10 different receipts. I was not intimidated and took my time locating the first item on the first receipt. After I found it, a gallon can of interior paint, I asked him what was wrong with it. The store was required to buy back paint colors that were mixed incorrectly. The man said that this was the case, so I started to open the can to verify that it had not been used. Immediately the man got angry. "Why are you opening it? I told you I'm in a hurry. What is wrong with you?" I continued to open the can and explained that I had to see if the paint was resellable, but when I looked into the can, I saw it was full of water. Shocked, I looked blankly at the man. "I didn't know the color was wrong until it dried," he claimed. I looked at his card. There were 4 more cans in it. "Are all of those filled with water?" I said. He was red and fuming. "I really don't have time for this. Just give me my damn money back." "I am afraid I cannot give you a refund for paint that has been used," I said. The man snatched the can from my hands, splashing smelly water everywhere. "Fine, I'll deal with this when I have more time. At least take this back," he shouted, slamming a large box down onto my counter. It was a ceiling fan with a light fixture, but it rumbled and sounded strange. I immediately started opening the box. The man started yelling about being in a hurry and began swearing at me. Dirt and gravel poured out of the box. He had taken out the fan and replaced it with rocks. I was speechless and honestly couldn't believe what was happening. The man screamed something about corporate and kicked the front of my counter. Then he stomped out of the store, leaving his cart full of items and his stack of receipts. After he was gone, a manager went through everything he left. Every single item in the cart was a used container full of sticks, rocks, dirt, or water. Every single one of the receipts seemed to be from a different person, all using different types of payment. I'm not really sure if the company ever pressed the issue or found the guy, but I am glad I didn't let him intimidate me into taking his returns. A friend of mine actually worked at Walmart for a few years, and I've heard plenty of stories about people returning essentially empty boxes. He told me that one time a customer tried to return a PS4 box but had just shoved his older PS3 system inside, and even after being confronted about the issue, he continued to insist that they should take the return anyway because, and I kid you not, they were basically the same. People would apparently also sometimes try and return open food containers. Needless to say, that didn't end so well for them. The best r/IDontWorkHereLady. No, seriously, that's the title. So this is basically the gist of it. I was at the Hot Topic at my hometown mall. Cringy, I know. Looking for a new pop figure I need to complete my collection, since the one I needed was a Hot Topic exclusive. I saw one of the employees struggling to restock, so I decided to help him out. It was heavy stuff to lift upon the shelves, to be quite honest. Moments after, a lady about the same age as me walked up to me and showed me a picture on her phone. She seemed frustrated. The photo was of an item that they sell exclusively at Hot Topic, the same exact pop figure I was looking for. She then proceeded to ask me, "Can you check in the back to see if you have this in stock, please?" She was pretty polite, so I responded, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't work here, but I would love to help you find it." She became furious, which I can't understand. She then screamed, "I just saw you stock the shelves. Are you really that lazy that you have to tell me you don't work here?" She then storms off. I became concerned considering it was a misunderstanding and nothing more. Plus, she was already frustrated about the pop figure. I began to look for her so I could help her out. I found her speaking to the manager of Hot Topic. "That's the guy I mentioned. I want this pop figure, but he refuses to check for me." I walked towards the manager, and the manager said, "I'm sorry, but he really doesn't work here." She then looked at me, annoyed but also embarrassed, then stormed out. I walked up to the manager and inquired about the pop figure. He had 3 in stock, and I purchased 2 of them. I walked out of the store, bag in hand, and walked towards the pretzel cart to get a bite to eat. I sat there for about 15 minutes, then walked towards the GameStop. I wanted a new game, but that's not why I went there. As soon as I walked in, I saw the girl browsing the Pokemon section. I walked behind her and pulled out one of the pop figures, then basically displayed it in front of her face while I was behind her. She quickly turned around and saw me. Her face went from bland to totally embarrassed. I told her to take it. She began frantically apologizing while I assured her it was no big deal either way. I then invited her to a drink, which she agreed to. Her name is Allison. We've been together for 2 years now. Damn, OP, okay, I see you. Well, I didn't see what was happening, but that was pretty smooth. Had to be a pretty good looking lady for you to both buy her the pop figure and want to interact further with her, given how she originally treated you and the manager, but hats off to you for the move, no doubt. Since this is the first time I've covered either of these subreddits, be sure to let me know in the comments what you think. Also, let me know if you have any crazy stories from working retail. I know the customers can be pretty wild sometimes, and I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thank you to everyone who watched this video. Be sure to subscribe for more daily Reddit content. Drop a like if you liked the video, and I will see you all tomorrow.